Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about episode 3 of Ahsoka. So this goes right into Sabine being trained by Ahsoka in the ship to learn the ways of the Jedi, specifically how to strike with a lightsaber. Now, I say it that way, but she was not using an actual lightsaber. She was using what I'm assuming is a training lightsaber, which is basically just a wooden sword, is what it looks like. So anyway, she is going against the training robot, or the robot who deals with all the lightsabers, and showing her the different forms that she's supposed to be using. So they're going back and forth and using it, and she does well enough to present that she has a knowledge of what needs to be done. But realistically, comparatively to others, she is not doing all that great. So Ahsoka decides to do something different and do a um, training montage, I guess the best way to put it, um, in the sense of having her blindfold herself, meaning Sabine blindfolds herself, and that way Ahsoka goes around and sees if she can use the Force to truly understand where her opponent is. So Ahsoka starts playing around with her, hitting her in the back and the shoulder with the sword to get her going, and Sabine does not do great until the very end. And even when she does actually land a hit on Ahsoka's sword, it still was not good enough for her to know exactly where her opponent was at all times, which is part of the problem. While this is going on, Hera is trying to get the Republic to join forces to stop whatever it is the Empire is doing. It turns out the senators disagree with Hera. They don't think that she's going to do well enough to actually be a significant help to the Republic. So what they're basically stating is they don't think Thrawn is an actual threat. They assume Thrawn is dead. They're claiming that the only reason why she's asking for all this resource is so that she can save Ezra. Now, Hera obviously is not happy with this, but she in the end loses this fight. So she lets Ahsoka and Sabine know that they're on their own and that nobody's allowed to come, including herself. Now, Sabine and Ahsoka are not happy with this, but they go on with the mission. So they realize that there's issues and everything else. So they get out of hyperspace and they start to go closer to what they think is what they're after. They get closer to it and they find out that there's a ship. Now, I'm using that word very lightly because I don't think it's your stereotypical ship. It's literally a ring in space that is apparently called a hyperspace ring. And supposedly, once it is all complete, that ship will be able to travel so quickly into hyperspace. Sorry, travel so quickly in hyperspace that they'd be able to get to the location where Thrawn is the idea. Now, Ahsoka and Sabine are now attacked by a bunch of the um, Empire members. Now, I say Empire members, but realistically, it is the Apprentice, the Inquisitor, and several other pilots. And in the beginning, they're having a difficult time with them. And then Ahsoka's basically telling Sabine that she's got to feel more confident in herself. And that's when Sabine starts taking them out one by one. They get blasted, and their ship gets shut down, and they get a scan of the ship. They then crash into the planet below, or I shouldn't say crash. They make an emergency landing in the planet below. They shut off all their power to be undetectable by the Empire, and they succeed. Now, inside, Ahsoka's basically telling Sabine that she has to practice on using the Force. And Sabine's like, well, I'm not good at it. She's like, well, the Force is in everyone, so you're gonna, you gotta just utilize it. And so Ahsoka pulls a cup towards her, and she goes, just start off small. And that's when Sabine starts to try to use it, but is interrupted and is unable to do so, at least in this episode. So while they're on the ground, they are realizing that they're going to be hunted. And that's when they really get the information on the ship and everything it's going to be doing for it, all that stuff. And then we have the fallen Jedi with a bunch of droids basically saying that Ahsoka and Sabine are on planet and they are to hunt them down. And that is the end of the episode. So, a lot that we see here is Sabine being trained as a Jedi, and apparently Ahsoka doesn't want her being trained as a stereotypical Jedi, but she wants to get her trained to be able to use the Force in a way that she's never done before. She makes it very clear. And in fairness, she comes from a line of non typical Jedi. I mean, she comes from, I mean, all right, let's go this way, right? It starts off with Qui Gon to Obi Wan to Anakin to Ahsoka to Sabine. And none of them are your stereotypical Jedi. Although, out of all of them, I think Obi Wan is the closest one to being a stereotypical Jedi. But even he's not your stereotypical Jedi either. But he's definitely a lot closer than everyone else on that list. That's for sure. So we have all of them, right? And now we're going to have to deal with the fact that we don't know where they're going to be led to now. So we know they're going to be hunted. So in the next episode, they're going to be hunted by the droids and going to have to take them out. And they're going to be pretty much just sitting there waiting until the ship is ready so they can then either hijack it or climb aboard to go into hyperspace to find Ezra slash Thrawn. And that's where I think the next couple episodes are going to be about. So, other than that, though, I really don't know what's going to happen. But for now, that's where I think it's going to go. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? Um, I personally like this episode. It was definitely slower paced than the first two, but it still gave enough information. So I'm very much looking forward to the rest of this season, a series, I should say. There are only 5 episodes left, so we have a still a decent way to go. Overall, very excited and hope it continues. Now, as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Hill signing out. Have a great night.